Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Fortnite Battle Royale tips and tricks video. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to get more solo wins in Fortnite and Season 7 or even Season 8 and beyond, and basically break it down into the three most important tips or most important things you want to be thinking about when you are playing these solo games that will allow you to make the right decisions, make smart decisions, and get more solo wins with higher kills, more consistent wins, or whatever your goal is in this game when you are playing solo. If you guys could drop a like in this video, let's go for 1,500 likes. That would be absolutely amazing if we could hit that. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new and not already subscribed. I would very, very much appreciate that. Also, a big shout out to everyone in the notification squad. If you guys are not already, hit that notification bell right next to when you guys are subscribing. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. And shout out to everyone basically using my supporter creator, the Goblin YT, in the item shop. I really do appreciate everyone using that on a day-to-day basis. It's incredible, amazing, and incredible how much it can actually help out just by you guys using that code and basically buying skins and stuff as you would be normally. So I very, very do much appreciate that. Okay, let's talk about it and break it down. Now, when it comes down to three things, the tips that I'm going to be talking about in this video are not necessarily gameplay tips, but are more tips into the decision-making process and, you know, being set up to win. You have to put yourself in a position to win, and that really is the case with Fortnite because it's not just a one-on-one fight. It's about who has the more mats, who has the more health going in, who has better weapons, who has better positioning. There's so many different things that go into a game like this, and even though every game is on the same map, technically, every game plays completely differently, and that's why, you know, it's a game that, you know, you think the same map will get boring. Some people that maybe didn't play Fortnite would think that, but it really doesn't because of the way the game plays. So, first tip I have to talk about is having a plan. I really think this is one of the most important things when going into a solo. Now, there's basically two things that people want to get out of solo games for the most part, either a victory royale and kills, right? So, and different people have different levels. You know, if you want to go for the most high amount of kills, you probably want to go tilted or a hot drop every single game, but of course your win percent is going to be a little bit lower. If you want to go for basically just going for consistent wins, you might want to drop on the complete outskirts of the map and play for that. For example, this season my win percent in solos is 27%, and of course if I had dropped tilted and gone high action every single game, it would probably be a bit lower than that. And if I had dropped Junction or Lonely Lodge and just camped out for the win, of course I could probably have a much higher win percentage than that. So it all comes down to a balance and deciding how you want to play, and basically based on where you're dropping, how far away from the bus, depending on the bus drop, and how you're going to play it and how you're going to loot up. Having a plan is very, very key, and not just deciding, but deciding before the game, looking at the map in the pregame lobby and deciding what you're going to do, because I really do think that is a good way to play. If you know what you're looking for, if you're having a plan going in, you'll be able to stick to sort of a schedule in game, be able to farm up your mats, different things like that. And that sort of leads into our next tip, which is understanding risk reward and opportunity cost, which is a big thing in this game, especially in a solo match, because basically if you want to win, you're gonna have to win some fights towards the end game, at least with the last player, probably the last couple of players. And what really matters when it comes down to that is having a good amount of health and shields, not only having it and being 100 or you know, healthy like that, but having some extra backup shields and stuff like that can be very, very key. Having mats, of course, having strong weapons. You don't want to be going into the final circle with a gray tack and a gray AR and 200 mats just because you camped out the whole game and did nothing except hide because you were scared. Of course, you're going to be at a disadvantage. And the main thing with understanding risk reward and opportunity cost is that you have to sort of balance your risk here, because if you want to go for more kills, of course, you're going to have to play more risky and you're going to have to play more aggressive. However, if you want to go for that win, and that's why I usually recommend deciding at a point or having like a kill goal, or deciding at a point where, okay, once I get to the top 10 or 15, that's when I'm going to start to play solely for the win. But before then, I'm going to play aggressive and go for kills. Having different things like that in your mind can really help you to get those conversions happening, because I find that a lot of people, like, they might not realize how late in the game it is and just be going for fights casually and set themselves up to maybe make it into the top 5, but you're running in there with 75 health and bandages and no minis. You're going to be in a very tough spot, and you're lowering your odds of winning that because of that. So understanding opportunity cost is different things that, sure, you want to go for fights, you have to run into different things, but you also have to make sure that you have a good amount of loot, shields, and mats. And there's multiple ways to get that. The main two ways are either fighting and winning fights. With the risk around that is you also invest a lot of stuff into fights. Of course, there's a risk of dying, but there also is the risk of, you know, you're going to use a lot of mats, you're going to use a lot of shields. And I really think that Fortnite should add something where maybe you get like 50 50 shield or 100 mats of each or something when you do win a fight, because I think that could be something that could be beneficial to give more reward and more encouragement to fight. But that's where you have to sort of find that balance yourself, and balancing out and timing out your games, because I think that's a main key, is you have to be able to move in with the storm while also farming up, while also engaging in fights, while also looting. There's a lot of things to get done, and even though a Fortnite solo game probably lasts around 15 to 25 minutes, somewhere around there, you don't really see 25-minute games much anymore like you used to, because they have made the storm times a little bit quicker, especially towards the end game. But basically, you know what I mean. There's a lot of things that you have to get done, and if you want to be in a good position late game, and being in a good position late game, rotating early, having a lot of mats, having good weapons, you're going to be able to convert on those wins a lot more, and that's going to give you more solo wins in the end. Of course, if you want to just strictly go for completely more wins, you're going to want to lower your risk and drop it more safe places, go more of a traditional looting system, and that's less risky. If you want to go for more kills and go for wins, you're going to want to go completely the opposite of that. Tilted towers, basically be looting strictly off of killing people and farming mats when you're in a really tough position. You kill, because, of course, everyone you kill might not have mats, or they might burn through the mats when you're fighting with them. And then, of course, my last tip here is going to be playing to your situation. So playing to your situation is something that I see people don't really do it enough. Smart players will, but you have to play based on what you have and based on the positioning in the game. So you can't really predict, how many mats an enemy's going to have or how much good weapons they're going to have. But if you're in the top 3, most likely everyone's going to be pretty loaded up, right? If it's 90 people left, some people are probably not going to have shields, and it's going to be smart to rush them. So you have to be smart with that and understand. And that's why I think that early game, having 200 mats is amazing. Mid game, if you're carrying around like 600, 700 mats, you're good. But when I get to late game, I like to have 1,000 to 2,000 mats, because I know that, I like to play that situation late game where I can base up whenever I want, where I can take high ground whenever I want, and I can only do that when I have a lot of mats. So I set myself up for that by, of course, opportunity cost, taking my time out of the game and farming up and doing different things like that. But I really think that, playing to your situation is something that is a key. If you are low on mats, you're probably going to build up your base only 3 stories when you're hiding out instead of 4 or 5. You're not going to double reinforce it. When you are super duper high on mats, you're probably going to triple reinforce, ramp rush every single thing late game, which is something that I just need to start doing even more myself, is capitalizing. When I'm late game and I have so many mats, I can do whatever. I don't have to be scared about anything. I should be triple reinforcing everything and different stuff like that. But of course, if you're more early game, you might want to preserve it, and playing to your situation is a key. If you have 75 health and you hear people fighting, you might not want to run towards that fight. You might want to run away and run into maybe Dusty Divot, where you're going to find some shields, or somewhere else like that, where you heard a chest, or you knew there's a chest over there, or go in for a supply drop. Also, playing to your situation is when you do have a good amount of loot and mats, not running into the town and looking for chests, not going for that supply drop and worrying about positioning. Understanding, that's why I think it's important to have a plan, and all these tips sort of tie into each other on how to make smart decisions and sort of understand your risk reward to get a good consistent amount of solo wins, while also picking up high kill wins or decent kill wins, whatever you want to do. Right here you see I'm making it more towards the late game, and with 3 people left, I go ahead and use this jump pad to early rotate, which is nice, especially when you saw I was comfortable fighting that guy right on the edge of the storm, because I knew if things got to the worst place they were, I was going to jump pad right on out of there, which is exactly what I did. The other player ends up getting killed, and then I'm in a 1v1, and my keys with 1v1s are take your time. You got pretty much nothing to worry about except that other player. Locate them, track them, do not lose sight of them, and then basically look for different keys. Like if their mats are switching, that means they're out of that mat most likely, unless they're manually switching it. Different things like that. Pay attention to the sounds of the weapons that they have. Understand if they have an RPG. Your focus is entirely on this one player, and then of course don't rush it. It's a 1v1. You don't have to worry about being third party, so don't rush it. You can see here I take my time, and then of course I'm able to pick up the victory royale here once I take my time. I'm not worried about this guy's RPGs, because the thing with RPGs is, unless they're like above you or in a tricky angle, you can usually just easily track them and just block block, block, and that's why they're not as tricky as grenade launchers. However, when it's more different angles, it's better. So you can see here I'm waiting it out. I understand this guy has to move because of the storm. Wait it out, and simple. 96 to the head. The AK is absolutely deadly. Was that 96? I think something like that. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. Drop a like if you guys did. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. And hopefully these tips will help you guys out. These are really good things that I think will help you guys have the right mindset and make the right decisions to get more victory royales and get them with the amount of kills that you target or different things like that. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe, turn on the notification squad or the notification button, and I'm out. Peace.